man. What a week it's been. This week started off shaky. It started off rough, but we finished strong. You know, um, yeah, I'd say it was a good week overall. Happy as hell to see Friday. Um, had a lot to think about this week. You know, one of the things that I've been facing on my journey, particularly recently, in the past few months or so, is trying to find, I don't know if balance is the right word, but sometimes I kind of feel stuck between, you know, doing the work, putting in the focused work that I had to put in to accomplish my goal, and the sacrifices that takes, particularly in how I show up in my relationships. Cause I'm cool like sacrificing like social life, and I can't go out and spend money the way I want to and all like that. I'm cool with all that. I don't have a problem with that. But like particularly my more intimate relationships, obviously, like my marriage, my close friendships, my family, like I know that I have not been showing up in those relationships the way that people would like me to, and the way that I would like to. But it's difficult. It's difficult because the work that I'm doing, although it is obviously for myself because it's what I want, it's also so that I can make the lives of the people around me better, so that I can uh, improve my family life, so that I can, um, just put us in a better situation and stuff. And so it's like I have to do the work, but then I'm falling short in other areas that have long-term effects. But it's like if I don't do the work, we're gonna remain to be in the situation, if that makes sense. Like it's kind of like a loop, and this week I was just kind of feeling like, damn, like there's no way to win. Like I have to stay focused on my mission, but then I have to be over here as well. And if I don't do one, I can't do the other. But if I don't do the other, then it's not benefiting one. Like it was a lot. It was a lot to process. It's a lot to think about, and that's something that I'm gonna have to continue to work through. Especially because I'm still in the very early stages of the things that I'm working on. And I only know that, as my goals progress, as I reach certain levels of success, things are only going to get bigger. And so I have to figure out a way to fit it all in, because I feel overwhelmed trying to be everything at one time. I don't necessarily feel like I have the capacity for that all the time, but that doesn't change the fact that that's what I have to do. So I'll be figuring that out for a while. But yeah, so that was the beginning of my week. That was a handful, but the week itself was pretty good. Work was work. It is what it is. But outside of that, got some personal study time in. Um, pulled my bass out the closet, and I'm getting back to practicing that. Obviously because it's one of my big goals, but I really need something outside of working all the time to kind of direct my energy towards, kind of take me away from it all, and just give me something fun to focus on. So um, it's been in the closet for a while, and I pulled it out, and immediately my brain is, I'm back addicted to it. So it's been fun to play all week. Came up with a lesson plan. Um, that's one of the things that I kind of, I don't know. It's kind of funny how things line up. Like I just finished a book, an audio book called The Talent Code. I believe it's by Daniel Coyle or Croyle, but essentially what the book is about is how talent is not necessarily innate like we believe it is. Like, people say, oh, they were just born with that talent or they were born a genius. And he was basically saying that the formula for talent is ignition, like what is your driving force behind wanting to do something. It's great coaching, like masterful coaching, and then it's deep practice. And one of the things that I am kind of changing in the way that I practice my instrument is just taking my time. Like, I was talking to my boys earlier, during our book club this week, about putting those 10,000 hours in and just constantly being a student and constantly practicing. And I know, like, in the past, when I would practice, I would try to kind of rush through concepts. And okay, I get that. I understand how the concept works. Like, what's the next thing I need to learn? But I haven't really submersed myself in what we would call deep practice, right? And so I just decided that's what I'm going to start focusing on. Like, there's no rush. Like, I want to, obviously, this is something I want to do for the rest of my life. It's just master the instrument, and just that I want that to be part of who I am. So I'm like, what is the rush, to get it all at one time, So I feel good about breaking things down into smaller chunks and staying focused for longer periods of time. Like, for example, what I'm working on this week is just my fretboard fluency, working up and down the fretboard, one key at a time. And so this week I just straight up focused on, C major scale, and just locked in on that. And I have a PDF of, like, I think it's like 8 different drills for each key. And I'm like, I'm just gonna focus on this one all week, I tried this same thing in the past, and my goal was to do just the way that it's set up. I could do like one a month, and then in a year I would cover all the scales, major and minor. And that was kind of how I was feeling. But now, like, I don't give a fuck how long it takes. Like, if I need to focus on D minor for 2 months or for X amount of weeks, like, it is what it is. It's better to master the smaller parts of it, the technique, which is part of talent code as well. I forget whose coach said it, but they were like, there's no I forget what it was, there's no skill without technique or some shit like that. But yeah. So say all that to say, it's kind of reshaped my outlook on the way that I practice and the way that I intend to improve. So that's cool. What else? So I finished the talent code. The boys and I started a book called The Comfort Crisis in our book club, which is pretty much exactly what it sounds like. I believe it's by Michael Easter. But yeah, basically exactly what it sounds like. Just talking about how we are way too comfortable in the lives that we live right now, and that is limiting our potential, our growth potential, and who we can be as individuals and as a human race. And that's always relevant, because we should always be pushing to get better. We should always strive to see, what we're really made of. So that book is always going to be right on time. But enjoying that so far. We'll probably get the book club podcast rolling in the next couple weeks. I'm really excited about that. I think we can turn that into something big if we really dedicate to it. It has a lot of potential, so that's cool. And then we have what else am I doing? Oh, there goes the light. Come on now. Okay, well, that's cool. There we go. So yeah, then beyond that we have I don't know what I'm doing. Okay. Then I also started a new audiobook, Mastery by Robert Greene. Literally, again, what it sounds like, about how to master anything, and so that should be good. I just listen to the introduction today, but I feel like that's going to be a good one. I'll probably have to actually add the physical copy to my library. What else happened this week? I had a really good meeting, lunch meeting yesterday with a major player in the industry that my business is in. We are, figuring out how we'll be able to do some business together. Um, and again, things just align. Things are right on time when they're supposed to be. Because this week, I was watching a master class specifically on a skill that I would need to learn to grow my own business. And I have this lunch meeting, and she's like, well, if you can, supply this, or if you can be this resource for me, I know I'm not getting specific because, I don't know how much I want to say about it yet until, you know, I get some motion. But basically saying if you can be this resource for me, um, obviously I'll compensate you well for it, and I'll teach you, things about the business that you may not be able to find, or things that you haven't learned through your previous mentorships and stuff. So that was right on time. So tomorrow I'm really gonna lock in. It's like a 5-6 hour master class. I'm just gonna lock in, go back over it, take some notes, and then just bust my ass to be valuable, to be of service. And like I said, this is a skill that I'm gonna need for myself, so it's perfect timing. Um, but man, things are going how they're supposed to. Some days are easier than others, but everything feels like it's on time. Everything feels like it's aligning. Even the challenges, the challenges that I'm faced with, the things that I'm presented, that are difficult to deal with, feel like they're on time as well. Like, okay, you need to learn how to address this. You need to learn how to fit this in, or grow in this area. I feel like all of that is lining up to put me where I'm supposed to be. So it's been a week. I'm looking forward to the weekend. I got hoops in the morning. That's my favorite part of the week, is Saturday morning basketball with my boys. Um, Gonna do the same shit I do every week and lock in, do some work. Got my second webinar. Oh, that's another thing. Did my first live webinar last Sunday. It went really well. I think I had about 9 people on there. Grateful to everybody who showed up. Um, Looking forward to continuing to do those every week. And eventually they'll turn into something. So yeah, that was cool. But got another one coming up Sunday, and we just keep rolling. We keep rolling. We stay consistent, and we grind until it pays off. So that's my update for this week, and we'll run it back next week.